but they've heard a lot from you. So do you want to tell them a bit about your training and things, please?
So with my training, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna do something else if that's all right.
Yeah, you're just crazy.
Yeah, I know. I like to stand up. So me being in this uniform is a complete accident, isn't it?
Cheers.
And the reason why, so I've never intended to join Red Dragons, and it's only because I think I've known Lloyd for maybe 2 years. And I've been running something called Little Elves Christmas Fair. And I said to Lloyd, can you give us something for the raffle? And he said, yeah, I'll give you 3 months free membership to the Dragons. Ironically, we won. And when I say we, I put Simon's name on all of the tickets. So Simon won, and Simon went, it's more your thing than my thing. And I went, oh, it's 3 months. And from day one, that was it, I was sold. I was like, this is my thing, and I am going to get my black belt, and oh my god, I'm going to get my black belt. And I remember walking in on that first day and looking at people and going, oh my word, there's like yellow belts, and orange belts, and green belts, and there's me, no belt. And now look. So your journey is unique. How you started, you'll all have started in a different way. How you finish though is with your black belt around your waist. And then the other story I want to tell you is my first brown belt. I thought I was ready for my first brown belt. Turned up, done all these belts already. I know what I'm going to do. It's going to be okay. I got to my exercises. And not dissimilar to Fergus, I think I might have been about 5 sets in, and my brain, Vera, so Lloyd was talking about the voice in your head. I lovingly have called mine Vera, because the thoughts in your head are not you, they're something else, and that voice is doing its job, which is keeping you safe. Neither good nor bad, just keeping you safe. And so the voice will try and stop you from failing, making a mistake, making a fool of yourself, doing something wrong. So to separate me from that voice, I called her Vera. And she was saying to me, this is really difficult. You have to do star jumps now, which is take this massive body and lift it up. And I was like, I'm tired, I can't do this. And I think, and you could see, because by this point, I think I was the only one doing exercises. So I'm doing exercises, I'm having this battle in my head, and I'm like, nope, this is not how it's going to play out. And that's when, so I'm being distracted by the voice, and I'm thinking, I need to get the voice out of my head, or at least under control. And so as Sensei was saying, 1, 2, I started repeating what you were saying.
Yeah.
In a way of bringing my focus back to that moment, so that Vera could make herself a cup of tea and go and sit in the corner so that I could get on with doing my exercises. So brown belt, first brown belt was literally horrible. So when I came to do my second brown belt, oh my word, Vera started talking to me before I even got to the venue. And we were outside, we being me and my family, having lunch, and I physically could not eat my lunch. And my daughter said to me, why are you not eating your lunch? You need to have lunch. And I'm like, I know I want lunch, but it's not going down. I'm chewing and chewing, and literally, I've got no food in my mouth because I've chewed it so much. And I had to talk myself into getting to the venue. Maria, just put your uniform on. Maria, just get in the car. Maria, just drive to the venue. Maria, just walk into the hall. I literally was having this argument again with myself. And because I was taking it one step at a time, like Sensei says, it's just the next exercise. It's just the next exercise. I managed to get myself to the venue. So then, when I did my third brown belt and I got my black belt, the biggest thing for me is the voice in my head. That's what's going to stop me. Physically, and Sensei will say this again, physically you are capable of more than you realise. The thing that will give up first is your brain before your body gives up. So for my 3rd brown belt and my black belt, I needed to do work on what was going on up here. Because otherwise, I would have been like one of those people that would try to get their black belt with Sensei's era. The youngsters. Sorry. I would have given up. Because I would have been the one going, oh God, I can't do this. And the biggest obstacle in that grading for me, and I think, David, it might be for you, and it might be for some of you, are those blooming exercises. Doing the shadow boxing, that's all right. It's like 5 rounds, 2 minutes. That's okay. Pad work, 5 rounds, 2 minutes. That's okay. Oh my goodness. You're going to have to do 1,000 exercises. No, 500 exercises. Is it 500 exercises?
No. Over 1,000 exercises over the weekend.
Over the weekend, yeah, because you've got to do it twice. That's a lot of exercises. So, if you can get this in here to be on your side, you're halfway there. So that's basically like how I got to get my black belt. And obviously Sensei talked about training. So there was me, Sensei, and Sensei Kelly. We were in Boston Tea Party talking about, okay then, what's the expectation for black belt? What's that all about? What's it gonna sort of look like? And we went through, it might be a bit of this, it might be a bit of that, it might include this. And all right then. And so when am I going to do this? And we're having this conversation in March of last year. And Sensei said, June. And I went, beep. And I was like, right, training needs to be focused. So, together a little training program. And you've all got access to this because it's on the Red Dragons Accountability. I won't show you it, you can come and see it later because it's so small you can't read it. So I put together a 4-month plan. I knew that physically I needed to be fit so that I could be able to be on my feet for 2 days. So running was involved. You don't have to run as much as I ran, but you need to know
I would say you would definitely need to run as much as you ran. 100%, all right, if not more.
So 3 running sessions a week. In the first month, 3 miles, 5 miles, 3 miles. Lead up to the 4th month, 3 miles, 5 miles, 7 miles. I've got to admit, in the last month, I probably didn't do as many 3, 5, 7s as there was available to me, and I'll tell you why in a minute, because I did have a number of low moments.
Yeah.
Exercises. We'll go back to exercises, because just close your eyes. Who hates exercises? Right, we all hate exercises, but we tell ourselves that it's actually okay, we can do it. Because if you tell yourself you hate it, it feels harder than, well, it's hard anyway, but it feels even harder. So to build up that resistance to having to do so many exercises, I was doing exercises every day, every week. So building up to 5 sets of exercises every day. Because you've only got to do another 5 when you do your grading. So if you're already used to doing 5, another 5 makes sense. Training, making sure you go to your training sessions, 2 training sessions a week at least.
At least.
Weights. I started doing weights. Kelly was my buddy. Thank you, Kelly. Technique. Obviously, you need to know the whole syllabus and some. So the whole syllabus and power and flow punches and kicks. Punches are easy compared to the kicks in comparison. They're not easy in comparison. And horse stance. Being in horse stance for many, many minutes, because you will be in horse stance for many, many minutes on the Sunday. But the one thing that I did consciously each and every day, because I knew that Vera was going to be my blocker, my obstacle. And this might be a bit woo for some of you, but I did a visualisation every day. I visualised training, and training being, this is going to sound weird, joyful, actually enjoying training.
It is.
I then visualised, sometimes it is, I then visualised my grading. So doing the 3 sessions on the Saturday and sort of making up what I thought the Sunday was going to look like. And then, the like icing on the cake, the cherry on the top, was being in the hall and getting awarded my black belt. So that might sound a bit woo and a bit weird and a bit strange, but if you can visualise it happening, you're putting yourself in that position where you're like, yeah, I believe it is going to happen. So there's just 2 more things that I would like to say to you. The first one is, I mentioned a bit earlier that I did have some dark moments. And I'm going to say, actually, I started training in March, and it was probably towards the end of April, where I was just like, I hate training. I like the thought of it. I mean, I know I have to do it, and I get up and I just do it, but I'm done with this. This is like, why am I doing this? And we had several conversations, and there were a couple of times we went, right, stop training for a few days. I don't want to see you do anything. Just don't do anything. So no running, no horse dance, don't do anything. So you will, if you are, like Sensei says, if you're putting in the training, just accept that there will be moments where you actually hate it. And that's just part of the journey. I lied, there was actually 3 things I want to say. The other thing I want to say was, I have highlights during the training, and there were a couple of occasions when I actually dropped the children off at school, went for my run. I then went to St Andrew's Park, and St Andrew's Park is not quiet, and I was doing like 3 rounds of shadow boxing, I was doing my exercises, and there are people going, what is this woman doing? But I didn't care, because it was a lovely, I don't think there were any days where it was raining, but the sun was shining, and I was training, and it was nice. And the third thing I want to say to you is, for my black belt, I had a little mantra, and I'd say 3 things to myself to make sure that I focused and Vera didn't take over. And those 3 things were pace, focus, and David Goggins. You obviously know what pace is, because it's you're in your training for a long time on Saturday. Sunday it might be shorter, but it's intense, so you need to pace yourself. If you go all out from the beginning, you will use up everything that's in the tank. It's like watching the children do sports day, and they've got to do long distance, and they don't realise that long distance means you've got to run for a long time, and they go off like a bullet, and then by the end of it you see them going, why can I not pick my feet up? So you've got to pace yourself. Focus, obviously, this is where I am, I'm here, everything else doesn't matter. And David Goggins is an amazing man. He's an American ex-Marine.
Yeah, he's done a few things.
And he's just crazy as far as what he's made his body do. I mean, he's run marathons and ultramarathons literally with broken legs, and he's bound them up. So I highly recommend, because Sensei recommended it to me, either read or listen to his book called Can't Hurt Me, because if you think you are broken, you are not broken when you compare yourself to what he's gone through. So,
not appropriate for kids.
Yeah. Oh yes.
100% not appropriate.
18 plus. Pace, focus, David Goggins. Is there anything else you want to say, or should we open up to questions?
No, you know the ideas. Okay, it's really simple. He says it again, really simple, but in that sentence, underneath is just put in the effort, put in the work, grit your teeth and go for it. You know that you're going to have to do stuff that you when you started, all of you, when you start, it's impossible. What I ask of you for your black belt is impossible for you to do when you start. All right? So all I'm asking you to do when you do your black belt is the impossible. all right? For a normal person walking off the street, okay? It's not for you. It is absolutely 100% possible. It is one punch at a time, one kick at a time. Do the next exercise. Be absolutely obsessed with that next exercise. Constantly be in control of what's going on in here. Right? Every one of you. When there's something difficult in work, in school, great. Great. Okay, good. Next, more, please. All right, and as soon as you start to embrace that, great. Okay, okay, blimey, that's tough, isn't it? Yeah, great, give me more. As soon as you start to embrace that, like, your capacity to do more, it's exponential. Like, you just go like that. And the black belt is the techniques that we're I haven't touched on the techniques. Did I touch on the techniques?
No.
I mentioned techniques. So we've got to do some techniques in the black belt grading that we've never done in class. Okay? There's stuff, and I'm not talking, it's everyone who does the black belt sworn to secrecy. All right? If you divulge what we have to do, then I won't do those techniques on you. I'm joking, I won't. Of course I won't. But so there is an element in that, right? Because the techniques are not straightforward. They're not simple in any way, shape, or form, and they ask of you to really, really put your trust in the technique and put your trust in you and all the stuff that you've done, because it's really, really hard. All right, you have to overcome a lot of things, and gravity or mavity, depending on your point of view. Right, questions? Anyone got questions? Yes.
What did you do after the black belt?
That's a great question.
Because obviously you're leading up all that time, years to that point, and then how does it feel in the aftermath?
So it's hilarious because obviously when I went, so you have to go to training, you do your black belt grading on the Sunday, and then you have to go to training on the Sunday. And I sort of thought, I feel a bit tired, but I'm all right. Went and did the training. Oh my word! The next morning, I woke up in bed and thought, I feel a bit sore. And I was about to say I literally got out of bed. I didn't literally get out of bed. I was thinking, right, okay then, I need to navigate this. I need to get my body out of this bed. And you can feel it in your body for a good few days. And the one thing that I did wrong that I should have thought more about, so I planned everything obviously up until the day. And like Lloyd said, you need to rest afterwards. I rested a bit too long because I thought, a bit sore. I should have then sort of got back doing my normal exercises that I would have done pre-training for black belt, because then I felt I did more harm than good not getting back on it. So now with hindsight, I would have had a plan to say, all right then, have a bit of a break, but don't just stop because your body goes, and then it's harder to get started. So I was a bit sore, really.
The very next lesson, the first thing that Maria said to me, this is genuinely the first thing Maria said to me, she said, so when can I do my second day? Right? And I said to her, and I think this is true, and when you train for your black belt, that informs how you train for everything else. All right? So, like the intensity that you train. All right? And I said, you'd miss it. And I think, she said she hasn't, but I still think she does. So I think all of you will miss that level of intensity, and you'll miss that fitness and that strength that you got through that, and you'll want it back. All right? So be prepared for that. Be prepared to know that you will train in a different way, because you have to train in a different way to prepare for your black belt. And then that will inform everything you do after in terms of your training, because you know that everything you do like I just said to her earlier on, so you know that your black belt second dan is going to be double what you do for your black belt and some. And she just went, okay. Because I've got plans next year for a second dan. It's just horrible.
4 days.
Huh? No, I'm going to condense it. I'm going to condense that 7 days into 6. something really simple. I like that. That's such a sentence. It's something really simple. Let's unpick that like a cat with knitting. Right. Any more questions?
It's stunning. It's like,
Food? Have you, well, you don't have yellow, but do you actually, prepare yourself somehow?
so I mean, we eat pretty healthily anyway. The thing that you need to be aware of is you need the energy ready for the weekend. So I was more conscious of eating carbohydrates like on the lead up, so that I'm storing that energy that then can get released for those 2 days. My problem, similar to mainly my second brown belt, is you've got the adrenaline going, and then I physically couldn't take anything in because my body's going, no, you're about to do something, it's really difficult, we don't need anything more in your body because you need to be able to run away. So it's being mindful that you are taking in food in the lead up to, and then obviously over those 2 days, because you are allowed to eat, just eat a little
Not
bit.
in the grading itself, but during the breaks
In the
between
break,
the
yeah.
Tiny Titans and the junior level 1, and then leading up to your grading. But don't eat a lot. Like when I was training for when I was fighting, I can remember now. Every fight, I would be terrified, right? And I make no bones about it. Like every fight was a full contact fight. I can remember my first fight, and I felt physically sick. I had a dry toast, and it was just I couldn't even eat that. Right? I drank plenty of water because that's really important, but I'd hardly ate. And then you just trust in the technique and trust in your fitness, and you have to just because your body's capable of doing it. But yeah, you be mindful, force yourself to eat something on the day. I never could on anything like that. In my black belt, I didn't eat. Right, I just had to whatever I had on board use as energy. So, but yeah, make sure if you can overcome those nerves. If you're not a sensitive soul like me, I'm sure you all can eat food. So,
That's another one. Why running specifically as a sort of a training?
that's a great question. Running puts miles in your motor. All right, it's really simple. It's that just that cardiovascular fitness sees you through everything. Okay, when I was fighting, my trainer Graham would say, you run in the morning, okay, and one thing I was going to say, everyone will say, I haven't got time to train for my black belt. And that's not true. It's really not true. Okay, if you want your black belt, all right, there's 3 months of you getting up an hour earlier, and then training, and then and instead of Netflix and biscuits, you sacrifice Netflix and biscuits for those 3 months. Okay, not every night. I'm not asking you to do when I was training, when I was fighting at the elite level, I literally lived martial arts. That's all I did. All right, I would run in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would train 5 days a week. All right, and if I don't know how he did it, but if I missed a run, my trainer always knew. I had no idea, literally no idea. Graham just had to sit. You didn't run this morning. Okay, my house and his house. He was just. I'm pretty sure he would be there at the window. Where is he? But you have to just do it. All right, you just have to do it. Running, it puts the motor on. It puts the miles in you. So and don't worry about time. I never used to worry about time, but then people would time me. Okay, and I could run 5 miles in 25 minutes, pretty much every time I ran. Right, I would literally, my friend would drop me out at 5 miles away from my house, and boom, I would go, like a little me. And to the point where I had people who were doing the county athletics, and they would race me, and no one ever beat me. It was really funny. Okay, but so I could have been a runner, I reckon, but I was a martial artist instead. So get the running in, because it's just really, really important. It just is. All right, and it's that doing it as well. Like, you're going to hate it. Okay, you are going to hate it. And you're going to have conversations with me, I can't do it. And when it gets to a point, we had conversations, there was that one conversation where I said, okay, take a day off. Take a couple of days off. Right, I don't want to see you in the gym. I don't want to see you doing anything. All right? But there were other conversations where it was like, I can't do it. Okay. And she was like, okay, I'll go running. I remember, was it your first brown belt? And you turned around to me?
No, my third. I think it was my third.
Oh yeah, third brown
My
belt.
third brown belt.
She turned around to me and she said, so do I have
Hang
to
on,
do...
hang on. Wait a minute. So this is the point of, I've done the first 2 sessions and I'm about to do like the proper full-on
last
session.
one.
Yeah. And then
So she said to me, do I have to do all the press-ups on my toes? And I just went... I never said anything. And she just went, okay.
I mean, I knew the answer. I was just hoping that I was wrong, and it proved that
And she
I was
wasn't.
right.
She wasn't. It was just... The expectation is do everything you can to the best of your ability, okay? And just grit your teeth. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
Is there such an age you have to be to take a black belt?
Is that what? Say that again. Is that
At
it?
a certain age.
Age, on.
Now, this is a really good question, and there's a lot of thoughts in the martial arts community, right? I did my black belt with a couple of kids who were 13, 14, all right, and they've been training for years, and they were genuinely, one of them became a multi-world champion, and the other one became a European champion, and were just wonderful, like, just wonderful martial artists. So I don't, like, if you're ready, if you're good enough, and you've put the time in, then that's the age you're going to do it, all right? So that's, for me, I don't really, like, I don't hold with the kind of the conveyor belt of the Muck Dojo kind of model of martial art, where you just go and turn up and do your, and now you're a black belt, thank you, and that person that has made thousands of pounds and blah 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 off the grading themselves, and you know, I think if you're good enough technically, and you show me that you've trained hard and you've worked hard and you've put in the effort and the time, you're ready.
How old were you?
I was, so it's 29 years ago, so minus 52. So that age, I think. Maybe
23?
23? I think I was 20. Yes, I was 23. Sorry.
And can I say the other end of the scale? When I got my black belt, I was 46. So age doesn't matter where you are. Age is irrelevant. It's like Sensei said. It's about this and the commitment and just doing it. So age is nothing.
Commitment comes from this, like belief here. Like now, you get up off the seat. As soon as you rise, you know that one day you're going to be a black belt. Right? That's it. But that then holds in with everything else. So I'm going to be a black belt, but what else can I be? All right? It's like literally endless. As soon as you open that door of what if, I want more, oh, you just watch yourself go. Like, it's insane. Like, there's so many more things you can do. It's great.
Any more questions? And then, can I, before I ask that question, just the one thing I do want to say to you is, and we haven't touched upon this, breathing. Yes, we breathe every day. Breathing in your grading becomes even more important, because you will find that when you start to panic, or if it's all like gets too much for you, you'll start to breathe up here, and you'll be like, oh, and that potentially could get you panicking. So be aware of your breathing and make sure you're breathing from down here. You're allowing your diaphragm to drop so that your lungs can expand. And if you do find yourself thinking, oh no, this is too much, I can't do it, then just focus on your breathing and take deep breaths in through your nose to get all of that oxygen in, because the best way of getting air into you is through your nose, and then breathing it out through your mouth. So, you know, if you are frightened, cat in headlights, breathing.
That's a really good point, because the only two things you can control are your breathing and the next exercise, or the next thing, all right? So that's it. Okay, you have no control at all, apart from breathing and the next exercise, and obviously quitting them. So.
Yeah, just curious about how you develop flexibility. It's like working on techniques enough, or
Stretch. Build in. We've got like Steph. She's really knowledgeable with the stretching and things. So you can ask her. We'll look at maybe getting some programs in place on our YouTube channel as well. Do some stretches there for people. Okay, but just stretch. And if you want to ask, I've got some experience with stretching, so I can give you some pointers as well. All right.
And that was part of my training program. Was I would do stretching every day, which I didn't do before that.
We tried to do the slow kicks on Thursday, the tension power.
Yeah.
I couldn't get above waist height, basically slowly.
So
Did you have to go?
So Steph will say to you, that is as much as your core strength that it is your flexibility. So you can, I am really flexible. The thing I had to work on though was my core strength, because that's what allows you to lift your leg.
Yeah. It's the flexibility, it's the strength, it's everything. So and that's part of the loveliness of the black belt. It shows you as the complete martial artist, which is great. All right. Anyone else got any more questions? Splendid. Thank you very much for coming today and listening to us. We really appreciate your time. Thank you guys. Take care. And if you can give us a hand taking the chairs away, that'd be brilliant. Well done. Good work.